Hi there, good morning. Welcome back. I'm Catherine. If you're new here, I'm glad to have you here. I'm doing a little bit of work again on Miscellaneous Works. I'm doing some miscellaneous work on Miscellaneous Works. And she's getting there. She's getting there. I thought I was close to starting to sew in the signatures into the backing for the to make it into a text block, but I'm not quite ready because I noticed there are a few old pages that I have not fortified. Oh, I did finish putting some extra tabs on. So let's see where I put some tabs. I put this one here, and it is a tucky type of tab right there. And then if you turn it over, it also tucks on that side. So when it's cardstock like that, that's a fun little option. And then I also put in, let's see, there's no rhyme or reason for my tabs. Sometimes I definitely put the tabs at the beginning of each signature. And sometimes I just want the profile of the open-sided pages to look cool. And in this case, I want them to look cool. So this was, again, from that box from Your Creative Studio that they sent to me. And it was a kind of a ticket that was bendable in half, so I used both sides. I think that's kind of cute, this end up. So I put that one there, and then there was one more, and I did want one in kind of cockeyed. So let's see, this one here I chose to put in just a little bit, and they don't match, they don't need to. Just the color, I wanted it to look nice with this lovely yummy mustardy gold colored paper. So I'm very, very happy with how the profile of this book looks. I just think that is just really, really pretty. Isn't that nice looking? Now, the thing you have to keep in mind, or I have to keep in mind, and I shall try to remind myself, is that it means I have to be extra careful not to make this at risk of being an alligator mouth, because let's pretend she's a text block and she's in her new cover. It does not allow for a ribbon this way. I could still put a ribbon this way. That's quite doable. Think about it. It happens all the time with those of you who use bullet journals. The elastic goes this way to hold it closed. And you could easily do that with your junk journal, is tie your ribbon lengthwise. So that's always an option, especially I don't plan on putting anything out the top. These will be going as usual. I keep them there. They're the last things that go when I'm making a journal. So far we're good. I have a little bit more fun I want to have with some collaging. But again, as usual, I aim to create writer's journals, book as opposed to a journal, I think. So I like my books to lend themselves to the writer. This is all, look at all this room. This can be written on, all that written on, even these little pages. All, once in a while there's something fun to break up any monotony. This could be written on. Even though it's sideways, boy, you can get a lot on there. So you get my point. Anyhow, I did already, there was one page already that I fixed, and I want to fix this one, which is of course the opening page of Lord Macaulay's Miscellaneous Works. And what I did for the other page, and I'm going to do it in this case as well, is I used some of the 1930s wallpaper that Nancy gave me, and I used it to fortify this poor old fold. It's 1880. So, I'm just going to eyeball how wide I want it. Doesn't need to be perfect. There we go. So that's just a bit of the paper that was left over. Oh, this is my template, my pokey tool template. We will be getting to that, hopefully, if I've got enough time today. So, what I do lately is I use the glue stick down the middle, like this, because it will dry invisible. And then I get some art glitter glue, top and bottom. And I just put it in place, leave it over the top a little bit, and I'll trim it. And for the most part, that's it. Now, here's the thing, be careful. And I'm warning you because I have done it. Some of the glue is over the edge, and sometimes you can just roll that right off like I'm doing right now. But that will be sticky for a little while. So don't put your signature back together or you'll stick your front page to your second page. I have done it. So, now sometimes when I do it like this, there will be some little, see that? Because I did a rough edge, I'll just go in like this and give it a little bit of an extra oomph, just to hold it down. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Again, that'll dry clear. Art glitter glue doesn't dry shiny the way 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac does, so you're okay. And that will, I like this. It's nice and light. It's not too heavy. I don't like to use anything too heavy when I'm fortifying an old fold, because you'll bulk up your book. Looking for scissors. You'll bulk up your book. And there's also no need to do both sides. Some people do it, and I think sometimes it's just purely because it's pretty. If you've got a really pretty washi tape and you enjoy it, by all means, go ahead. But I'm just looking for my blue box under there. It's there. Little Miss Kirby is downstairs with Hubs. He's home. Oh, our last get-together, there was a crash at the end of the video. Yes. I have a little trinket shelf on my wall, and my little Beswick gray kitty cat. Everything survived except there was an injury to the little Beswick kitty cat. Now, even when you're doing this, be careful. I do it while it's still a little damp, just so that I can get a nice fold again right there. I don't want it to dry too flat. I want that nice crisp fold, but then I open it up and let it finish drying. And I'll leave it like that for a few minutes before I put it back together with this. Let me go get the little kitty cat and I'll show you what happened. So the whole thing came crashing down. I forget what I was even reaching for. Oh, I was reaching for August's little Catherine card to remind everyone to go over. I'll post the link again so that you can be included in the giveaway for August's little Catherine card. Anyhow, my beautiful little Beswick gray kitty cat. I think I did a good job hiding it, but his little ear got chipped right here. And I tried to find it and I couldn't find it. So I actually used some of my ink for my fountain pens. And I think it did a good job. So, and now that that's dry, I had a little talk with him, and I told him, it just means now that you're a feral cat. You know how they'll catch feral cats and they'll spay or neuter them and then they'll release them? At least in the Toronto, the GTA area, they'll re-release them back to where they lived because that's what they know, and it's very difficult to socialize a feral cat. My husband's company was able to do it with one. He became their company cat. He had been living under a trailer in the parking lot of their building. I'm just going to use some clear nail polish now to make that part shiny like the rest of him. Seeing as now he's imperfect. He's perfectly imperfect. He told me he didn't mind at all, and that he kind of likes that he's now a bit of a feral kitty. And I think you can hardly tell. And he looks like he's still smiling. Anyhow, yes. So they will, feral kitties are very, very difficult to ever socialize to live with humans. And as long as they're not reproducing, they're quite fine to live back in the neighborhood they were living in and catch mice and rodents and take care of things like that. But my husband's company, they successfully, a little white and orange cat, they noticed one winter he was living underneath a trailer that was in, they have a big parking lot at their building. So they started leaving out little things for him, and he was slowly eating them up. They were worried in the winter that he might be getting hungry, and they were having to put out water every day because it would freeze. It was a cold winter, the winter they discovered him. So then they ended up putting out, with no door on it, they took the door off a big dog kennel crate, and they lined it with wool blankets. And one of there are drivers who work at my husband's company, and he mostly has retired police officers working for him. And one of the police officers was such a big sweetie pie. He brought in his official coat. You know, they have a big wool coat that they wear for special occasions in the wintertime. And he brought in his big heavy wool. These are the formal ones that come down to their knees. It's like, say they were going to a winter funeral for a fellow officer. This is the kind of coat that they would wear. A very special coat. And he brought it in and he said, "This will keep him warm." And they completely lined the inside of this crate for this little feral kitty cat. And they named him TC after the company. And my husband's brother, so my brother-in-law, he's got a way with animals. He's like an animal whisperer, and he knows a way to respectfully just win them over slowly, doesn't force himself. And he was slowly just putting treats out a little bit closer to the door, because there's a garage where vehicles can come and go. And then one day, hubby phoned me from work, and he said, "You got to hear this." And I said, "Oh, all right." And he put the phone on speaker, and I could hear, that's sort of my attempt. And apparently TC all of a sudden one day decided, all right, I'm here. And apparently he walked right into the garage, and he didn't move out. So they made a bed for him in the garage. They actually did get him litter trained, and he lived at the garage. He lived out his days at the garage, and that's how they were able to get him neutered. And he turned into a gentleman of leisure, and they spoiled him rotten. And he lived out a wonderful life. He was still free to come and go, and it was really, really sweet. Okay, I went way off topic, all because of my little Beswick kitty cat that is now a feral kitty cat because she got her ear clipped. But I think she still looks very nice, and she certainly. I'm not ready to get rid of her just because she had a little chip on her ear. I think we did all right. I might give that a second coat, and then we'll get back to work on looking over and seeing what needs a little bit of, might need a little doctoring on those seams. Now this is just Dollar Tree nail polish. I use it for all kinds of things. Mostly I use it for if I have rusted some bulldog clips. I really like the look. Oh, that's just an oiled bronze. That's not a rusted one. But when I rust these, I do like how it looks when you just give it a little coat of clear nail polish. So that's why I didn't use this one. It's gone orange because that's rust. All right, let me put my little kitty back, and she's looking good. I think she doesn't mind whatsoever that she's had her ear clipped. There you go. Everything else survived. I thought for sure there was a little birdie up on the shelf, a little china. It's half of a salt and pepper shaker set. And I thought for sure his beak would have got lost. That's dry now. Would have got lost in the avalanche, but it didn't. So that's good. So I'm just going to take a quick peek through, see if there's anything. Sometimes older things. See, I've already done that one with. That's faux tape. Sometimes some older paper is really, really excellent quality and needs no fortification whatsoever. But some of it hasn't weathered the years very well. So let's see. Oh, that's our one sheet. Okay, you're okay. You're all right. You're brand new. Practically. Okay, you're all right. Let's see. What about you? Yep. Okay, so terribly exciting episode today. We will be fortifying folds. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to move fast. I went and glued this before I ripped this. All right, let's do it. We can do it. I like, for the most part, I break all my own rules. I don't mind that that little chunk is missing there. I like, when I do have to fortify a fold, to do it on the inside. Simply because I look at the other side, since our books, the books I work on, are open from right to left, so I look at the other side as the presentation side. So that's why I usually will fortify the inside and leave that side pretty so that there's nothing over here. But I've often been known to break my own rules. And then, well, I hope you're all doing well. I'm certainly feeling better. After last week, not so good. This week, better. Well, Miss Kirby's doing fine. We're still waiting to hear on. We're not out of the woods yet with her teeth. We did have a better review on them from the vet. One tooth is in a good position. We were worried about both of her canines. Her one canine is fine, so that's nice. But the one is still not quite right. So the vet does want to see her in 2 weeks. And we'll go from there and see if more needs to be done for her tooth. And I'm relieved. I had all kinds of nightmares about what they do because we had a little bit of a difficulty with our initial veterinarian that we had been taking her to, and she made it sound like a nightmare. Oh, well, if they have to pull out those canines on little dogs, it can be a nightmare. It'll break her jaw. It could break her jaw. It just sounded awful. I actually burst into tears in her office in front of her because our last 2 dogs died young through no fault of our own. It just happened. One ended up with kidney disease and one ended up with pancreatitis. It was nothing that we could have done. And I burst into tears and I said, we waited 2 years to get this little dog. And now I'm not going to put this together yet because I don't want to glue this page to this. So I'm just going to put it aside like that for now. Anyhow, she made it sound like they were going to have to break Kirby's jaw, pull these teeth out, and that the lower canines are what hold her tongue in, so her tongue will hang out for the rest of her life. And Kirby, I swear, has the longest tongue I've ever seen on a dog. I honestly think it could touch the ground if she's been running around too much and she's been panting a lot. It's quite cute, but anyhow. But this, we decided to actually stay with the vet that we took her to for a second opinion. And now here, I wonder if this one needs a little bit. I can feel some of the glue in there. Sometimes the holes are so big that you can feel the chunks of old glue. Anyhow, we felt we had a better feeling with the second vet that we got the second opinion from, and so we stayed with them. And so I said to her, I said, "What's involved if this tooth does not move?" Because she's still hopeful it will grow into the correct position. And I said, "What happens if it doesn't?" And she said, well, yes, she will have to see a canine orthodontist, which still cracks me up. And she said, what they'll do is they basically do a root canal and a crown on a dog. So she would be sedated, but they would, that tooth, they would take out the root, file down the top of the tooth, and just put a cap on it of a shorter tooth. And it would be good to, and she'll be good to go. And I said, well, that doesn't sound horrible. The other vet was making it sound like she could possibly end up with a broken jaw. And she said, oh no, she said, it'll be a one-day visit. It'll be like she went to the dentist and had to have a filling. And I've had 3 root canals, and that's what they're like. It's like having a filling. Root canals hurt when you've got an abscess, because you always hear people going, oh, root canal's horrible. And if your tooth has died and abscessed, then yes, it's excruciatingly painful. But which I've had. But 2 of mine, I just simply, for whatever reason, teeth will do this, they just died. And they have to do it, or else they can abscess. I'm sorry, but I've never found them to be any worse than, for my 3, they've never been any worse than having to have a tooth drilled and filled. Feels same to me. You're just getting your tooth drilled, and then in this case with a root canal, they put a post in to strengthen the tooth, and then they put a cap on it. So, and that's what they would do with little Miss Kirby if that's what they had to, so their tooth doesn't hang out to the ground. Maybe if she had a short tongue, I wouldn't mind so much. That's why when you see pictures of cute little old dogs and their tongues are hanging out, it's usually because they've had to have teeth pulled and they don't have any teeth in their mouth to hold the tongue in. Oh, don't tell me 30 minutes is up. Wow. Okay, hold on. I've got to figure out. I used a new alarm, and I'm not sure how to turn it up. Time's up. Stop. Oh, I think I stopped it. Okay. Let me give myself 5 more minutes. Hold on. Because I'm not done. Okay. We can do that, right? 5 minutes? Start. All right. I don't think I went over the edge with this one. I don't feel it anywhere, so we can put this one back together. So I'm very relieved that should Kirby need to have this one tooth fixed, I'm not too worried. My curiosity is if this is if the orthodontist works at a full-service veterinary clinic, which I should look because I have the website. If while she's under anesthesia, if we could also, we're going to have her spayed. There's no need for her to have any puppies. So, to have it done at the same time so that she doesn't have to undergo anesthesia. Yes, see, I did this one already, so that's good. So that she doesn't have to go under anesthesia 2 times. She could just go under anesthesia once. And her mouth shouldn't hurt her terribly. Not like having a tooth pulled right out. It would just be from freezing. That one's okay. So these are all things that I'll deal with in 2 weeks because, I mean, fingers crossed, we go to the vet and the vet says, oh, it's moved right into place. Don't worry about it. Then you you will hear from the great white north up here. Well, it's not white right now. We're in beautiful shades of green right now. The Hallelujah Chorus, if that's the case. And if not, I'm not quite so worried. I mean, I will still worry. Nobody likes when their little pet or any of their loved ones have to have surgery or anesthesia is always a worry. So there's that. One more. Oh no, I've done that one. Oh, let me show you what I did. And we've got like 2 minutes. Let me show you. With this one, and I'm not sure why I did it, but I simply grabbed one of the extra pages because I've got the whole text block still over there. And I took this side off one of the pages that I was never going to use, and I used it to fortify that page, and you can hardly tell. Isn't that cool? So that one's fine. And the rest of these, I suspect, then are good. This is from a genuine old children's book. There we go. We're good. We're good to go. All right. So I think, although I've run out of time because I'm going to be at 35 minutes in a minute and a half, this should be dry. Yes, it is. What I'll be doing next is poking the holes, which I've done before, so that's no big deal. I'll be poking the holes, and I'm going to spend my afternoon sewing these 11 signatures into this and making a text block. So the next time you see these papers, they'll be all together. Oh wait, I wanted to do a bit of machine sewing. I might do that in the meantime. Well, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for listening to me blather on and on about my dog's dental problems. And my poor Beswick kitty cat, my feral cat, she must have got spayed or neutered. If it's a he, I don't know. He or she didn't tell me, and I didn't take a look in the delicate area. All I know is it got its ear clipped. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye.